Hey there, we're live. I'm live from New York, and there's so many people here already. I'm so excited. I'm Miriam Schulman, and I'm your hostess today. I'm the founder of the Inspiration Place, and I can't wait to get started. I am so grateful for everyone who showed up live today, and if you're watching it replay, I'm grateful to you too. So thank you for spending this time with me together. I can't wait to get started. We have a really busy presentation, so I don't want to waste any more time. I want to dive right in. This is the free masterclass, 3 strategies to uncover your signature style through flower painting. So is everyone excited? Give me a thumbs up or a heart or something just to let me know that you can hear. And so the first thing that I would love for you to do to help you is eliminate distractions. So if you have your phone, silence your phone. If you're on your computer, shut the door. This is your time, and you deserve this time here today to work on your creativity. So if you are one of those people who sent me emails, and by the way, there has been hundreds and thousands of messages and emails flooding my inbox. I'm trying to get to them all. A lot of people say that they haven't picked up a paintbrush since college. If that's you, you're in the right place. You are in the right place also if you've taken lots of art classes, but all your art looks like the teachers. So if that's you, you're not alone. There's lots of people who are in the same boat, who they've taken all these art classes and now their art looks like, I don't want to name teachers by name. I'll just make up names. Amy, Jane, and Sue. You're now all your art looks like those teachers. You're still in the right place, because that's what we're talking about today, is about how to develop your own style. You're also in the right place if you love to experiment and you like the way my art looks and you want to have those skills for yourself so you can incorporate my processes into your own style. So we will be talking about that today as well. All right, so here is what you're going to learn. You're going to learn the 9 biggest roadblocks that are stopping you from uncovering your own style. Trust me, you're so not alone in this. And once you find out what these roadblocks are, it's going to be a little bit easier for you to recognize them and overcome them. You're also going to learn why painting florals is the perfect way to conquer problems like your inner critic and perfectionism. And I'm also going to share a simple exercise to help you rediscover the pure toddler-like joy of painting without the pressure of it coming out like a masterpiece. And you'll also learn a fun approach to drawing flowers that will immediately shut down your inner critic and allow you to see drawing from a whole new angle. Now, I'll also be sharing real-life examples work from my students have created to help inspire you on your style uncovering journey. And I've also promised that if you stay till the end of the masterclass, I will be giving away my free supply list for how I create my mixed media flowers, kind of like the one you see back there. Well, exactly like the one you see back there. I'm Miriam Schulman, and I am from New York. I live in New York now with my family. That's my handsome husband and my 2 children, my peacock in the background. And my family is very important to me, just as it is to many of you. And I also share my home with my cat, Ebony, who happens, well, she was in the studio a few minutes ago. I think I scared her away. I'm also the founder of the Inspiration Place, which is what I'm most proud of. So I've been a professional artist for 15 years, and now I teach my processes at the Inspiration Place, and that's where I share how to paint in watercolor and mixed media, and also to build creative businesses. So if you've been putting yourself on the back burner and now you're ready to start investing in your creative self, you've come to the right place, because I've done it. And I can't wait to show you how to do it too. Now, I haven't always been a professional artist. I didn't go to art school, and that's probably like many of you. So I, didn't believe I could make a living as an artist, so I put those dreams aside. So did anybody else wish they were an artist when they were growing up and put those dreams aside? Just share with me in the comments. I know they're going by really fast, but I promise I will take the time to read every last one of them. So I took the practical route and worked at a big bank in New York. Looks a little ominous, but that's what it looked like when I was working in New York. And I even went back to work when I started my family. So that's my little girl who you saw in the other picture, and I'm pregnant with baby number 2. But during my second maternity leave was in 2001, and that's when 9/11 happened. And I took that as a sign from the universe that I was meant to do something much different with my life. And then I decided I would not go back to Wall Street. And I was determined to make a living as an artist. And it wasn't easy at first, especially as I struggled to find my own style. And like many of you, I started off by copying other artists. In fact, it's not really a bad thing to copy or model other artists. All artists start off copying other people. You just have to then advance from that and learn how to paint your own way. So if you've ever picked painting from copying Van Gogh, just say guilty in the comments below, because I want to see who else has done that as well. And though I enjoyed making all these paintings, it wasn't really my style. And sometimes it wasn't exactly copying, but I was pretty much doing it in the style of other artists. So not quite my own style. Can you relate to that? Yeah, I see a lot of people are guilty. It's okay. All artists start off copying other people. Degas went off to Italy to copy the Italian artists. People have copied Rembrandt. Michelangelo copied the Greeks. It's all part of the process, and it's completely fine. It's just when you want to take your art to the next level, you might want to not copy anymore. And we're going to talk about that during this live stream. All right. So like I said, you're not alone, and it's not your fault. But when you do tap into your own power, it is so liberating. And that is why I'm obsessed with teaching today's topic. Now, I do have my own style. And in fact, today I'm going to share with you 3 strategies for unlocking yours. And when you uncover your signature style, you're going to begin to paint with confidence and with ease. So my art has been seen in many publications. I'm just going to share this with you for a moment. And I've also recently been published in Professional Artist Magazine. That's my cow art right there. And I also write for Professional Artist Magazine. And the reason I'm sharing with all this, my story and where I am now with my art career, it's not to brag. I want you to see yourself in my story. And I want you to say to yourself, she did it and I can do it too, because there's really nothing special about me. If I can do it, I can show you what's possible for you as well. So let's talk about why finding your own style is so difficult. So many of us are women. I think we're pretty much all women here today. We spent our whole lives putting other people ahead of us. And that doesn't mean simply the women who have stayed home to take care of your people, of your family, but maybe you put your children ahead of yourself, your partner ahead of yourself, your job ahead of yourself, or your housework ahead of yourself. So Dana says job and family, spouse and kids, all of the above, all of those. Yep, I hear you. So we're all in this together. We all have similar struggles of putting yourself or your creativity in front. So if you did print out the workbook and you're following along, this is roadblock number 3. So I'm not going exactly in order of the workbook. And don't worry, we will get back to number 1 and 2. When you spend your whole life putting other people ahead or other things ahead of you in your life, when you finally comes time to work on your own creativity, you put so much pressure on yourself for that one moment, for that one performance to be perfect, that you want it to turn out to be a masterpiece. And that is a standard that even Monet and Van Gogh did not hold themselves to. Not everything that Monet did was a masterpiece. Now, this happens to be a masterpiece, but he destroyed all the art that he didn't like. At the end of his life, he destroyed it, and he painted over a lot of canvases, and Van Gogh painted over a lot of canvases. Now, why did they do that? Because they didn't have enough canvases? No, because they didn't like what they had. So what you see in the museums are their very best work. So you can't hold yourself to such a high standard. Now, not everything you do is going to come out a masterpiece. So you have to give yourself permission to play, which means that a lot of your experiments are not going to turn out. I know not all my paintings do. In fact, I don't know if you can see, but there's a pile behind me, which are my canvases of shame. So I have a very good friend who is also an artist, and she has this quote hanging up in her studio, and it's all life is an experiment, and the more experiments you make, the better. So if you want to print this out and put it where you like to do your creative work or write this down, maybe this will help you. So let's get to another roadblock. Who here has a noisy inner critic? And we're talking about the inner critics, not the noisy spouses who criticize us. Because so your inner critic are those voices in your head telling you you're not good enough or you don't know enough. Oh yeah, Barbara says mine is named Nancy. That's awesome. Yes. Okay, so these are my inner critics. These are the Muppets. I don't know if you remember this, but I love the inner critic. So some people like to name their inner critic, but you have to shut those inner critics down. So I will definitely be sharing with you some strategies to quiet those inner critics today. Sometimes we hide our style for fear that it's not quite good enough. Does that sound familiar to anybody? You hide it. It can be really scary to start showing what your true self looks like. It's really hard to make yourself vulnerable. In order to step out into your own style, you really have to have the courage to be authentic. It's a lot safer to make your art look like somebody else's. It's a lot safer to make your art look like the teacher's rather to look like yours. But then when you start making art that looks like the teacher's, what you'll start saying to yourself is that you feel like an imposter, that you feel like you're not a real artist. Anyone else feel that way? Not a real artist? You know, we all have that. That is called imposter syndrome. And by the way, I'll be talking more about imposter syndrome in next week's broadcast, during next week's live stream, is playing to what your audience wants. Now, what do I mean by that? In other words, painting what you think other people want or what might make other people happy. And those are people who maybe they paint something because they know it sells. So it's okay to paint something that you know is going to sell, as long as you're painting it because it also makes you happy. So those two things have to be combined. But if you're painting something because you know you think it's going to sell, that's what I mean by playing to your audience. So that could definitely be a stumbling block to unlocking your style instead of being brave and taking a risk. What I'm going to share next might surprise some of you, because sometimes it's not just the fear of failure that holds us back, but it's also the fear of success. Now, what do I mean by why would the fear of success hold somebody back? Well, just think of it this way. If you spent your whole life putting others ahead of you, and now you're in your 60s or even 70, and suddenly you discover that you are an amazing artist, well, you might worry that you've wasted all this time. So that's what I mean by the fear of success, that sometimes people are held back by the fear that they actually might be good at it. So if you're not sure if that's you or not, just keep that in the back burner and think about it. It's usually easier to think or say to yourself, if you're afraid of succeeding, you might just be saying to yourself, I'm no good. So sometimes that's the story we tell ourselves when actually the problem is you're afraid of succeeding. Now, I truly believe we all already have our own style. It's just a question of uncovering it. Kids don't have any of these problems. So it's about bringing you back to that pure toddler-like joy of drawing when your mother first gave you a crayon. Except there are so many supplies. So you might get supply overwhelm because you don't know where to start. So which of these 9 roadblocks are holding you back? You're going to share with me in the comments, okay? So I'm going to go through them, and when something sounds like you, I want you to type it in. Okay, so the first one is a noisy inner critic. The next one is perfectionism. The next one is imposter syndrome, the fear you're not a real artist. How about fear of failure? What about fear of vulnerability? Fear of success? Fear that you won't be good enough? How about painting what others think that you want them to paint? Or supply overwhelm? Or roadblock number 10. Now, roadblock number 10 is actually something that I didn't originally put into this presentation, but I heard from a lot of people, this was a recurring theme, that you had a teacher in middle school, you had a critical relative, you had a mean girlfriend. Somebody somewhere down the line told you you weren't good enough.
And you believed them.
So if anybody has judgmental cats, judgmental friends, judgmental relatives, if that's been your experience, that now that's the story in your head that you keep telling yourself. All right, this is a huge list. And I wish I could help you with all of these problems, but we only have so much time together today. So we're going to dive into the 3 biggest issues. So issue number 1 is perfectionism. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to share with you an exercise, and I know you may want to do it right now, but what I'm going to invite you is just to write down what it is, and when this presentation is over, then you can go and do it, because it is an art exercise.
So since this is a re-recording, I'm actually improved what I'm sharing with you. I'm actually sharing you an exact lesson lifted straight out of my course, Garden Party, and here it is. So a great way to let go of perfectionism and silence your inner critic is to do non-dominant hand exercises. These exercises are going to bring you back to when you first discovered the pleasure of drawing when you were 3 or 4 and your mother gave you a crayon to play with and you had fun doing scribble scrabble. So doing non-dominant hand exercises, I want you to repeat this in several different ways. So I'm going to give you some instructions of how to do it, and I'll show you what mine looks like as well. So you're either going to tape down a piece of paper, the bigger the better, or you can work in a sketchbook where the paper is not going to shift around. And once again, the bigger the better. So I'm doing mine with charcoal, but I want you to think about repeating this with Sharpies, repeating it with crayons. And here are some different things I want you to try. I want you to put music on that you love and close your eyes and draw with your non-dominant hand and not worry about how things come out. Just let your arm dance to the music and create marks on the paper. If you peek and there's something you like, you can repeat it, but try not to peek too much because you know that's when your inner critic is going to start criticizing you, and he is not welcome here. Also try this exercising using both of your hands, and maybe even try doing something like drawing something in the room without looking at your paper or writing a word, but do your non-dominant hand. Think about circles, squiggles, triangles, lines, spirals, any shape you want to explore. Anything that the music tells you to draw is great. Other supplies you might want to try out besides Sharpies and charcoal are markers, pens, pastels, anything at all that you want to try. It's just a piece of paper. So this is a great way to loosen up, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do.
This exercise, and I did not play the full video, is one of the 9 exercises that's inside a module in one of my paid courses. So it's inside a module called Style School. And it's basically a course within a course. And one of my students who did all 9 of these exercises, after going through Garden Party, she shared that I'm really enjoying style school. And then she had trouble drawing, and then she learned to draw this. And I apologize if I'm not reading word for word. I forgot to bring my reading glasses to this, and I can't see everything. So if anybody else can relate the problem, don't have my reading glasses today, type that in the comments below. Anyway, this is Sonia's art, and she didn't think she could draw before she started taking my classes and going through these exercises. So I want to dive into another strategy because I don't want to just give you one strategy. I want you to have 3 strategies today that you can use, 3 practical bits of advice. Okay, so we're diving into issue number 2. Again, we have our inner critic. So the last exercise was really to let go of your perfectionism because you're not really trying to do anything. This next exercise will really shut up your inner critic when you are trying to do something. This is one of my favorite exercises. So who here struggles with an inner critic? And then I just want to share, I hope Teresa doesn't mind, Sherry, reading, wait, it was the wrong comment. Somebody else said, oh yeah, by the way, if you are tuning in late, you should be able to restart this from the beginning as soon as I'm done. So don't worry about that, okay? So who here struggles with your inner critic? So if you're coming in late, you can type in and join the conversation. Lots of people struggle with an inner critic. And don't worry, I practiced this. So even though I can't read, I've memorized it. So we're good. All right. So inner critic, guess what? We all have one. We all have one. Some of them look like the Muppets. Some of them might look like the stars from American Idol. I don't know. Maybe your inner critic looks like my cat. But here's your strategy. What you're going to do is we're going to start with flowers. So flowers are a great place to start when you're tackling this. Because flowers, you don't have to worry about it looking exactly like a real flower. It's not like drawing a portrait or a dog. Flowers really lend themselves well to being stylized. So here's the exercise I'm going to share with you, and it's a real powerful one. What you're going to do is draw a flower upside down.
So since this is the replay, what I was able to do was I took the exact lesson out of my Garden Party class, and I'm including it right here for you. In this lesson, we're going to be drawing our pictures upside down, which will really confound that inner critic. So for that, stay tuned. So in this classroom, I've provided a black and white photograph for you to work with. And I've posted it in the classroom upside down. And that way you can work from it without having to print it out. You can put it on your screen or your iPad or whatever it is. And with your pen or whatever drawing material you want, you're going to be looking at the photo and also drawing it upside down. Now, when you draw, I want you to copy the photo exactly how as you see it, and you're going to forget that it's a flower. Just focus on the various lines that you're seeing. That's why I made it in black and white. I want you to find a quiet place to draw where no one's going to interrupt you or disturb you. You can play music if you like, and as you shift into a more meditative state with your drawing, you might find that the music will start to fade away. I want you to finish this drawing in one sitting, allowing yourself no more than 30 minutes. Set an alarm clock or a timer if you wish so that you can forget about keeping time. And more importantly, do not turn the drawing or your photograph right side up until you have completely finished what you have done. Because if you turn your drawing the right side up, your inner critic will wake up and might start judging you. And we do not want your inner critic involved. before you begin drawing, I want you to study your upside down photograph regarding the angles and the shapes and the lines, and look at how everything fits together. When you do start your drawing, I want you to begin at the top of the paper, copy each line, moving from line to line, from shape to shape, just as you would putting together a jigsaw puzzle. Don't name the parts. Don't think about this is a stem and this is a flower and this is a bud. That you just don't want to do that. We're not naming things. You're just copying different lines. This is really just to increase the way that you see things, and that'll really bode you well for later on. Once you start your drawing, you're going to begin to really start to see how lines come together. And I want you to remember that everything you need to know in order to draw this poppy, although I don't want you thinking of it as a poppy, is right there in the photograph. So all the information is right there, which will make it really easy for you. Don't make this more complicated than it needs to be. It's really as simple as that. After you finish, then you can turn your drawing right side up, and you'll probably be surprised at how well your drawing came out. Now, obviously, we can't draw everything upside down, although I guess when you're working with photographs, you can. But the goal is to really start to make a cognitive shift so that you're not letting your critic do the drawing for you, that you are being present and mindful of what you're actually seeing, and that's what you're going to begin to draw. Now that you're done with your drawing, you may want to have a little fun with some painting. So I am picking some paints from Paper Artsy. They are not expensive. They were £3 each. I'm not quite sure what that was in dollars. I think that was, I don't know what the pound to dollar is, but it's probably like $5 or $6 a bottle. Not expensive. And the colors are really interesting and fun. And I'm only choosing colors based on the names. So I picked one color called London Bus, and the other colors I have are smoked paprika, guacamole, and midnight. And again, I just chose them mostly because I liked the names. But it's basically one red, one orange, a green, and a dark color. And I really want to encourage you to use a very dark color as well for the background. Now, the point of this exercise is not so you have a finished work of art that you're going to sell or anything. That's why we're doing this in the sketchbook. I really want you to strengthen the way you see your edges and strengthen the way you see negative shapes, and try to see things more simplified as large shapes. That's really going to help you whether you're doing this kind of art or even in your more traditional watercolor. For those of you who have jumped over to this mixed media world from the traditional watercolor painting, you're really going to be a better artist if you are able to see things in terms of big shapes. So that's what this exercise of the coloring will really help you do. Now, you don't have to use paint. You can use markers, but the paint is just going to make it go a lot faster because the markers are going to take a much longer to color in. Now, you may want it to take a much longer time because it's fun for you, and I invite you to do that. Using the supplies I'm using, it's absolutely not necessary, which is why I have not given you a supply list yet. So basically, you just want to use any kind of acrylic paint or any kind of markers for this exercise. For all the exercises in Style School, you really just need some kind of black pen or some kind of charcoal for this shading, and that's pretty much it.
So I bet you're wondering, will this work for me? So will this work for you? Okay, so that's why I brought in some flowers done by my students who have done these same exact exercises. Okay, so I know some people are skeptical. Janet says, love flowers, upside down, oh boy. But trust me, it's easier this way. I know you don't think so, but here are some flowers drawn by my students. And actually, what I did was I didn't just pick out the two best. I am sharing with you dozens of drawings done by my students who all did it upside down. And this is, remember Sonia who did the sunflowers a few slides back? This is the exercise she went through. She didn't think she could draw at all. And this is what helped her. So again, I'm sharing lots and lots. And you can see also how nobody's looks exactly like mine. Everybody is able to interpret this in their own unique way. Isn't that amazing? So I hope you guys will actually try this exercise when we're done here. So my promise to you, whenever you show up for anything I do, is that you come away inspired and ready to draw and paint, and that you're going to learn lots and lots. All right. Whew. Okay, so I do have a question. I'm just going to go back to, the question went by so fast, but I'll just try to repeat it. So is it better to work with a photo? I do think that when you're doing the upside down exercise, it's a little bit easier to work with a photo because the photo already has lines and you'll see the black and white. And that's why I also suggest that you work from a black and white photo. Anyway, we're going to move ahead. I have lots of more tips to share. We're going to dive into issue number 3. Okay. Issue number 3, supply overwhelm. Who else has supply overwhelm? I'm going to take a sip of water. And I'm sorry I'm not muting it. The last time I had a live stream and I muted it while I was drinking, I forgot to unmute it. So, sorry. Okay. Who here has it? Because let me tell you, we all have it. Even this guy. Sometimes I'll bring my daughter with me to art supply shopping because I get so overwhelmed by all the bright, shiny things. I think a lot of artists are like that. It's like the bright, shiny object syndrome, but we all have it, especially when you're first starting out and you don't know what to get. So we're going to eliminate supply overwhelm once and for all. So I truly believe that mixed media, if you haven't picked up a paintbrush since college, mixed media is much more forgiving than watercolor or oil painting. But there are still all those mysterious white bottles in the supply aisle. So let's take the guesswork out of it. And that's why I decided I wanted to hand you my complete shopping list for my mixed media florals. So if you've been enjoying all the art that you've been seeing that I've been sharing today, whether it's by my students or by me, all those supplies that I've been sharing, all the supplies that I've been using to create art that I've been sharing on Instagram and on Facebook, all those are included in this supply list. So you're going to get that exact supply list if you stay till the end. So I'm going to share it right before the Q&A. Every single thing, right before the Q&A, I'll be sharing it. Whoops. So right before the Q&A, I will be sharing the complete supply list. Pinky swear. Okay. So who here now feels inspired to start painting flowers? I want a heart. I want a thumbs up. I want an emoji. I want a GIF if you know how to get those going. I want to see, oh yeah, this is a very common thing. Marianne says, I always end up using the same things even though I have a room full. It's so true. We all do that, right? Okay, so who here? Yeah, lots of people are ready. Perfect. Okay, so let's keep on going. All right, so what I want you to do, if you're ready, I want you to commit. I want you to type down in the comments below, I'll do it. Type in the words, I'll do it in the comments right now if you're excited to start painting flowers. Woohoo! Lots of people. That's awesome. Okay, and I want you to remember that these strategies I've shared today, nothing I've shared with you today is theory. All of these strategies work. I've used them and my students have used them. And if they can do it, so can you. So I'm going to ask you, why did you show up here today? Maybe you're ready to enter a new creative phase in your life. Maybe you're done putting other people ahead of yourself. Maybe your kids have left home. Maybe you're recently retired. Maybe you're recently divorced. I don't know, but you're ready to step into a new creative phase in your life. You're ready. Are you ready to step into your own style with confidence? Or maybe you've been doing these things and you love the look of mixed media, but you want those skills for yourself. So the obvious question is, how do you learn all these things? How do you learn all the strategies for unlocking your own style? How do you learn skills for mixed media? So you have a choice. You have a choice. You have two options. You can keep doing what you're doing now with a little help from your friends. You can take the long road, or you can use a little bit of magic. I would love to be that little bit of magic in your life. I would love to be able to help you. I'm not extra special. There is no magic fairy that comes along and says, you're an artist, you're an artist, you're an artist. No, it doesn't work that way. These are just strategies. I've learned them. I've taught them to other people. And if we can do it, so can you. Look at my other art students' art. I'm sharing with you different artists every single time who have taken my classes. I've taught hundreds of people how to paint with my processes. And I can share with you dozens. I mean, we can go on all day sharing dozens of paintings and artworks that my students have done. For example, this tulip painting, this sunflower sketchbook drawing, this peony sketchbook, this daisy painting. So what do you think? What do you think? You ready? Yeah, let's get out the magic wand. So if you're ready to start painting, if you want to learn these strategies, if you want to learn how to build mixed media layers, if you want to learn my exact process for creating sunflowers like this, but learn how to do it in your style so your art doesn't end up a copy of mine, well, then I'm ready to introduce to you a class that I have called Garden Party. So Garden Party will help you develop your own style for creating mixed media floral paintings and learn techniques to shut down your inner critic. Here's what you're going to get when you sign up for Garden Party. You're going to get 50 video lessons. You're going to get 9 modules. You're going to get lifetime access. You're going to get a private Facebook group, Mixed Media Mastermind. And this is what you'll create. Every single one of the drawings and paintings that I've shared with you today are lessons that are inside Garden Party. They're either part of Style School or they're part of the mixed media processes that I'm teaching in this class. So you like this sunflower sketchbook painting that you saw on Instagram and that you saw my student do? That's taught in Garden Party. If you want to learn how to paint those peonies and get that photo reference I shared with you earlier, that's inside Garden Party. If you want to learn how to do shading so that your flowers look a little bit more realistic and suggest a flower without having to do tight realism. I'm not about botanical tight realism. That's inside Garden Party. If you want to learn how to do these crocuses, and then of course, you will create 5 canvases. I put so much into my classes because I want to make sure that you're not just learning how to copy one project like this peony that I'm teaching you how to do inside Garden Party, this was poppies, or the peonies that I'm teaching you. I want you to learn skills so that you can take these skills and then take them to your own art. Of course, you can learn from my demonstrations, but then you're going to be able to, after the class is over, do your own artwork in your own style. And of course, I'll teach you how to paint sunflowers because I know that's what most people are asking me that they want to learn. Every time I share any kind of sunflowers on Instagram or Facebook, I'm always getting questions about what supplies I use and can you teach me how to do that? So by the way, you could try to figure all of this out on your own. I've been a professional artist for 15 years. What I would love to do is not waste your time. I'm going to take 15 years of my experience and share that with you so you're not wasting your time and you're not wasting art supplies. So the total value of this class because it includes Style School, which is really a course within a course, and a Building Layers module, which again is like a course within a course. And then you're going to have complete lessons for how to draw my popular flowers in sketch and develop a sketchbook practice, and complete demonstrations for 5 different paintings. So we have sunflowers, peonies, poppies, tulips, and daffodils. So there's a lot of value, but don't worry, I didn't charge you that. I mean, it's probably worth well over $1,000. So I could have charged you that, but what is the investment with me? Don't worry, it's not $1,000. I could have charged you $1,000, and I'm sure some people would have paid me $1,000, but I didn't charge you that. And maybe I could have considered, for all that I'm offering in this course, $750. Didn't charge you that. Or even $500. No, didn't charge you that. And the next time I open registration for this class, the class will be $390 because I truly believe this course is worth that and a lot more. But if you sign up, your total investment is $297. And you can even make easy payments of $99 each. And anyone who pays in full will also get a bonus ebook. So I'm offering a bonus ebook for anyone who pays in full, which is Unlocking Your Style. So it will include a few exercises that are in the course, plus 30 days worth of exercises that you can use to help unlock your style. So if you're ready to jump into Garden Party, all you have to do is type in #teachme in the comments below, or go to the URL, tinyurl.com/mixedmediaflorals, and that will take you to the registration page with all the information and lots of testimonials. But I decided I really wanted to add more. So there is more included in this class, because all my classes always comes up with lots of bonuses. So the first bonus is 50 pages of gorgeous floral references. So 50 pages of photo references that will allow you to paint not just the demonstrations in the class, but go beyond what is in the class. And there's more. I also have a course on bonus training on how to do transparent gel transfers. Plus, I also have the free Mixed Media Mastermind group. Now, those of you who may be part of my Inspiration Place Mastermind community, which is a free community, that has 4,000 members in it. This one only has 300 members in it. So it's a much more intimate community. All the people are taking the classes at the same time and going through the same journey together. There is a lot of people who are here today who are wondering about the costs. I share lots of content for free, and I know that not everybody can afford to buy my classes, which is why I like to do all these free classes, and I have a free inspiration community for you. But this is for people who want to take it to the next level and want to invest in their creativity. So if you do decide that you want to join, I do have a fast acting bonus. So if you want a motivation audio on silencing your inner critic, that is available. And if you sign up by Sunday on the 4th, you will be able to get that fast acting bonus. So it's 12 affirmations for artists to quiet your inner critic. It's because so many people tell me that after listening to my live streams or during my courses, they feel so inspired, but then this will help keep that inspiration going. And now, because there are some related classes that you can only get once or twice a year, I've created some packages for you. So if you want to sign up for more than just Garden Party, I'm offering 3 bundles. So Garden Party, Mixed Media Masters, or Poet's Garden. So Mixed Media Masters includes 2 classes. It includes Garden Party plus my most popular class, Mixed Media Madness. So I've bundled that together to save you money. So Mixed Media Madness is a course that will help you get the fundamentals of mixed media layering and go through the supplies on a much more fundamental level. And it will include so if you get that bundle, it's everything that's included in Garden Party. It's 68 video lessons. It's 17 modules. And if I'm reading something wrong, it's just because I don't have my eyeglasses on. And
okay, 17 modules, printable tip list, forever access, and this bundle includes my most popular e-course. So my first bonus is an ebook I put together for you to make mixed media silhouettes. So in the classroom, I'm demonstrating this butterfly canvas, but with this ebook, you can print out and use 18 different silhouettes to make works of art, so that in addition to the project you learn, you'll have 18 more ideas that is not copying me. Plus, I'm going to challenge you to make your own silhouettes. So there are 18 different stencils. So after you've learned the project in the class, you can take my process with the stencil to make 18 different artworks. Now, when you join Mixed Media Madness, you'll get this resource for free on the very first day you enroll. That resource is already in the classroom waiting for you. And this resource is not available anywhere else. I'm not selling it anywhere else. These templates will jumpstart your art and get you on track to creating winning works of art. Now, my second bonus is a set of mixed media backgrounds as a PDF ebook. So you can print out these mixed media papers and use them in your art as often and as much as you like. I created them. I'm giving them to you to print out, and you can use them as much as you want. And again, these papers are not available for sale anywhere else. The only way you can get this paper pack is in this course. Now, great thing about the Mixed Media Mastermind is you really do have a kind, supportive group with artists of all levels cheering each other on. For example, look at Debbie Burrow's work. Her art is so awesome, and yet she feels inspired and challenged by being introduced by new techniques and the camaraderie she's gotten from this class. To learn how to develop your own style with more complex layered backgrounds. You're going to learn how to make the layers look smooth and cohesive so they look professional and not like a third grader did them. You're going to learn how to use all the different gel mediums that I showed you in the supply list and the gessos. And more importantly, you're going to understand which ones do what, so you know which ones you need to use. You're going to learn how to incorporate magazines and textures. You're going to learn what and how to add a focal point, and then you're going to learn how to make it pop. You're going to discover an easy and surprising trick for choosing a color palette that is pleasing, beautiful, and harmonious. And then you're going to learn how to come up with inspirational sayings to put on top of your mixed media background. I'm going to teach you how to create harmony in your art with a pleasing color palette and teach you how to use different pens and markers and how to create lots of sheer layers without making the piece look heavy. You're also going to learn how to give your art a finished, polished look. Now, this program, as all my programs do, come with a built-in community of beautiful, supportive souls. So let me show you the lessons you can anticipate in this program. We're going to talk about what to do when you're staring at a blank canvas and what to first put on that blank canvas. There's going to be a full lesson on gesso, on glazes, on adding paint patterns, on creating borders and focal points, and I'm going to give you lots of help on finishing techniques. There's going to be a whole lesson on collage cohesion and alcohol inks, and again, more finishing touches, because really that's what's going to make your art look professional and not like a third grader. I even threw in one more bonus lesson on creating these lovely layers, because you really can never get enough of layering techniques. And even though this course isn't about lettering, I couldn't help myself. I threw in another bonus lesson on lettering. Now, I want to show you some samples of the types of art you're going to learn how to make. And by the way, it's not about copying anything that I do. You're going to learn the process. So I'm going to teach you how to make a cohesive collage background just like this. We're going to work on doing mixed media silhouettes. And I'm also going to teach you my complex layering techniques. So if you choose to, you can add your own art on top. And I will be teaching the techniques for adding your own art on top and how to integrate that so it doesn't look like you just slapped it on. Now, when you learn this mixed media process, you are going to find your own artist voice and style. If you've abandoned your creative side for too long, it is time to get those juices flowing again. This also is a great course for you if you do paint every day, but perhaps you need an artistic breakthrough. Mixed media is such a huge subject. I know I'm always thirsty for as much knowledge as I can, and I personally continue to seek knowledge and grow as an artist. When one stops learning new things in your art tends to get stale, and I don't want that to happen to you. So no matter how long you've been painting, it's always a great idea to take a class and learn a new perspective. Now, just like this video series, all of my videos, I put just as much care and attention to making them very well edited, very entertaining. I don't drone on and on. It's not like it's hours of uncut videos of watching my paint dry. I make sure every lesson makes the most out of your time. I break down each and every step, plus you get personal assistance from me through the classroom. So this course is designed to help you get your questions answered, and the mastermind group will help you answer anything that either didn't make sense or you just need a further explanation. My hope is to remove the mystery of what it takes to create a creative practice. And my goal is to get you to a higher level of mastery as quickly as I can, because nobody wants to make time to be frustrated. In fact, maybe part of your problem for not finding time to make art is because when you do find the time, you're either staring at a blank canvas or you get started and you're frustrated. But once you discover the joy of creating, finding time to do it is going to be so much easier, because if you've been frustrated, of course you're going to have trouble making time for art. But if you find more joy in it, it's easier to find the time. And here's what you're going to create. You're going to create an easy collage lettering project that's suitable for beginners, right? You're also going to learn how to do an intermediate paint project to build your skills, and an advanced collage project that will make you say, I can't believe I did that. The total value of those courses are $1,250 or $464 if you were to purchase these classes separately. But your total investment is only $397 or 4 payments of $112 each. If you pay in full, you'll also save $50, plus you'll get the Unlocking Your Style ebook. Now, if you choose the Poet's Garden package, here's what you're going to get. You're going to get Painting with Words, Mixed Media Madness, and Garden Party, and that's what I'm calling the Poet's Garden package. You're going to master your lettering and turn your art journaling into a personal development healing practice. Here's what you get if you choose that package. You get everything that's included in Garden Party, everything that's included in Mixed Media Madness, and everything included in Painting with Words for a total of 104 video lessons. You get a private Facebook group, Mixed Media Mastermind. So you'll be able to combine all the skills in mixed media, plus get whimsical lettering ideas and learn the secrets behind my mixed media florals. Plus you'll get a bonus ebook, which is 18 lettering styles. And you'll also get a bonus video, how to create your own rub-ons. Now, the total value of that is $1,500, or it's over $600 if you were to purchase these classes separately. But your total investment is only $547, or 4 payments of $149 each. Now, if you pay in full, you'll save $50, plus you'll get the bonus ebook. What happens next? You'll be taken to the registration page. If you click on the registration page on any of those yellow buttons, then you can look at the packages, choose the package that you believe is right for you, and then you'll be taken to a secure checkout page. I do accept credit card or PayPal, and you can choose either pay in full or installment. And there are testimonials on all these pages. And every single one of my classes comes with a happiness promise, which is 100% money back guarantee. You have 30 days to try out the class. Once you've registered, you can log into the members area. Now, I also promised a complete supply list for you, so I would love for you to get your hands on that for those of you who want to do it yourself. So you can go to Flower Supply List now to get that.
So is anybody ready to ask some questions? One question I get asked all the time are, do my questions have lifetime access? So yes, all my classes have lifetime access. Somebody else wanted to know if I'm going to be talking about alcohol inks. And yes, in the building layers module, I do talk about alcohol inks. Okay, so somebody wants to know what mixed media means. So instead of painting in traditional watercolor oil, we do, my mixed media is layering different things. So I'm layering collage, I'm layering acrylic, I'm layering all kinds of things to produce art like the art that you see back here. Okay, so the question is, how do you get the 12 affirmations to quiet your inner critic? That is a bonus if you sign up for Garden Party, and that bonus is only available if you sign up by Sunday night. Okay, and then Michelle says, thank you, great tips. Looking forward to experimenting. Glad you got a lot of value out of this. Okay, so the question is, how do I do the lacy backgrounds? So I do share all of that in the building layers module. So that is inside of Garden Party. Okay, somebody wants to know what the cost is for Mixed Media Madness. So Mixed Media Madness, when it's offered on its own, it's $167, but it's not being offered on its own right now. It's only being offered as a bundle. So the only way you can sign up for Mixed Media Madness or the other art journaling class is if you sign up for a bundle with Garden Party. Okay, so there's a question about copyright with what quotes, and I really don't feel comfortable giving legal advice. So, I mean, you definitely can use that for your own art, but it's difficult to incorporate some quotes without running into some sort of copyright thing. I tend to use just general words like trust and believe, words that are empowering in my art that really no one really has a copyright claim to it. That's a great question. Okay, that's a great question. Somebody wants to know, what is one of the common thing that I see students make when trying to create their own style? And the most common thing I see is they do something that looks different than the teacher, and they immediately think that's bad, when actually when you do something different, that's a good thing. Because when you do something different, that's actually your style trying to burst through. So we should be trying to embrace your imperfections, because that is what is going to help you develop your own style. The 3-course deal, is that available on the website? No, it's only available in the link here. All right. Question, how much is the bundle? Okay, great question. So I don't have those numbers right in front of me, but I believe it's only $100 more if you get the bundle, which is a huge savings. So if you want to bundle Mixed Media Madness and Garden Party together, I believe it's $397. So it's only $100 more. So it's a lot less than if you bought the courses separately. Okay, so somebody wants to know if they can start the class later. So all my courses are self-paced and lifetime access. What I do is I drip out the content weekly, and that way you don't feel overwhelmed that you're getting too much at the same time. So each week I drip out the content, but once you have access to everything, you can take as much time as you want. Okay, so in some of the samples that are done with black outlines, that could be because what they're doing is I encourage them to take the work they did in their sketchbook that might have been done with some black medium and then color it in. So all those supplies are inside the free supply list. I do want you to get the free supply list. So what I'm going to do is everyone who's signed up for this webinar, I will be emailing you the supply list. I see somebody saying, do you do any collage? I do lots of collage. So inside Garden Party, it's lots of collage. Inside Mixed Media Madness, there's lots of collage. Okay, so somebody wants to know, how long does the class take? So Garden Party is really, it takes about 2 months to get through all the different lessons. So I drip out the classes week by week by week. And so that there is the Style School module, there's the Building Layers module, and then there's 5 additional modules. I'm trying to count on my fingers. So that's 7 weeks. And then you get bonus weeks. So there's at least 8 weeks of content for you. Okay, somebody wants to know, what are alcohol eggs? That's my New York accent. It's alcohol ink. So alcohol ink is definitely something that I share with you inside the course. And Laura wants to know, do you have a website or a blog? I have both. And then, are there any classes that are watercolor only? I do have classes that are watercolor only. It's just not offered at this time. Yeah, greens are really difficult, and I definitely spend a lot of time teaching how to get the greens right. So that's a great question. Will the mixed media class be offered at a later date? I believe Mixed Media Madness will be offered on its own in the summer. Okay, so I think we're at the end of the hour. Thank you so much, everybody who stayed on with me today live. I see there's still 300 people who stayed on with me live. I am so grateful. What I'm going to do is, when this is over tonight, I will stay up. I'm going to re-record things for you. I'm going to make sure you get the supply list. I really want to make sure you get everything that I promised here today. And I will send you a replay, not on Facebook, that you can replay at your own leisure, that will not cut out on you, and you'll get all the goodies that you want. But thank you so much for those of you who stuck with me all this time. I'm truly grateful for that. So thank you so much. And we're going to end, and good night, everybody.
Okay, so now I'm going to be able to take some questions. Some of these had come in during the live stream, and some of them are just questions that I get asked all the time. Another question I got is, I'm wondering about using acrylics for painting flowers. And actually in Garden Party, that is what I'm teaching. I'm using acrylic paint as well as watercolor, markers, and charcoals and pens. So all kinds of paints and mixed media. So I had a question, do I offer classes that are just watercolor? And I do. This one, though, is not a pure watercolor class. So if you stay on my list, then you'll learn about that in the future. You got another question. It says, I'm interested in Poet's Garden. Is it a bundle with painting with words? Yes, Poet's Garden includes 3 classes that also includes painting with words. Another question is, what is your favorite color to paint with, and do you use it in every piece? Well, I wouldn't say I use it in every piece, but definitely teal ends up in a lot of my artwork. So another question I got is, are the mixed media classes offered later in this year? I will be offering Mixed Media Madness on its own during the summer, and I usually offer painting with words in December. The bundle information, somebody asked me where the bundle information is. If you go to the registration page and you click there, you will be taken to where the bundles are. So I also was asked, how long is each class? It depends on the lesson. I do try to edit my videos so that they aren't too long with you watching me do things that are redundant. All my videos are very highly edited, so they tend to be under 20 minutes. Lessons, sometimes they can be as short as 10, but I try to pack as much practical information into every lesson as possible. And somebody also asked, can you do payment plans for the bundles? Yes, every single package that's offered, you can pay in installments. Somebody also asked, Sylvia wanted to know if there's chalk in the mixed media. And I don't believe actually I've used pastels in this particular set of courses, maybe charcoal, but you can. There's absolutely no reason why you couldn't. Joyanne wants to know, how do I sign up for the Painting with Words bundle? What's in it? So the bundle is the Poet's Garden bundle. It includes Garden Party, Mixed Media Madness, and Painting with Words. Again, Nancy wants to know, are any classes only watercolor? Not in any of the classes that I'm talking about today. Which class would give the most mixed media use best bang for the buck? I mean, I truly believe, so this is a question from Sandra. It's a great question. I truly believe Garden Party is a bargain for all that's included in it. But in terms of all the bundles, definitely Mixed Media Masters is probably the best value. But if you plan on taking all the classes later on, then of course go for Poet's Garden. So thank you so much for joining me. I really am grateful of you spending your time with me today. And I just wish you a joyful, happy, and harmonious day.